To you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Honda. Well, we've seen some great defense around this ballpark lately. As Drupal Cabrera get it anywhere near first base, LaRoche will pick it. If he doesn't, Pfister will back him up on days he's pitching. It's Jordan Zimmerman's turn today. About to make his 26th start of the year. He's 8-5 with a 2.97 ERA. Visit trainsearch.com to find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. So, of course, quite muggy with the rain in the area. 76%. There's a bit of a breeze coming over the scoreboard in right center. Right now, it's kind of blowing from the right field foul pole straight over toward the third base line. So they recently put some more of the Turfus compound on the infield to soak up some of the moisture. Nats visiting with some of our local youth baseball league kids, and that's always fantastic when they get to go out on the field.
How pumped is that kid right now talking to Ian Desmond? Adam LaRoche.
Words of wisdom.
That's where you say, someday, son, you can be here. You can be a major leaguer. Now get off the field and beat it.
248, the Giants are hitting 9th in the league. They're 7th in runs and in home runs. Joe Panik. Yeah, he put the attack on the Nats last night. He went 4 for 5, 2 runs scored, his first big league homer, and 3 batted in as a major league hitter. He's 316, 42 for 133. And look at this guy, 9 multi-hit games already. Former high draft pick, he's doing well, and here's Zimmerman, 8th time career against the Giants.
Well, fastball's averaging 94 miles an hour this year. Slider 87, curveball 79. Changeup he rarely throws at 87 miles an hour. 2-0 with a 3.59 and 7 starts against the National League West this year. And he's 2-0 with a 2.03 in August.
Giants have won 3 straight. They're 7 over 500. 3.5 over the Dodgers, who won their ball game last night. And by the way, in Cincinnati tonight, the Braves at 7:10 will take on the Reds. That'll be Irvin Santana, 13-6. Mike Leake, 9-11. Marlins won last night in Colorado. They send Tom Kohler against the Rockies a little bit later.
Here's your Nats defense. Behind Jordan, Harper, Spanworth, the outfield, Desmond Rendon, left side of the infield, Cabrera, LaRoche, right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the dish.
16-year veteran Paul Emmel has the plate. Chris Conroy first, Jordan Baker second, and the crew chief over there at third base. There's Jerry Meals. Angel Pagan, 2 for 5 last night. First pitch of the game. It happens at 5:17, underway with a strike. So a 1 hour, 12-minute rain delay.
It's the Giants' fault. They brought all that stuff from Chicago down. I'm blaming them.
Way inside.
So you know they always say it's a marathon, not a sprint. 35 games left. It's sprint time.
It's coming around the clubhouse turn right now.
Absolutely. Here we go.
Yeah. No more laying back. Everything you got every day. That's a little bit low and away as Jordan missed with 93.
Just really enjoy this time of year. The stretch run. All the games mean so much.
And a 2-1. Well hit right field. Worth no way to get there. You know Pagan's thinking about 2 on a wet track, and he'll make it easily. And the Giants right out of the chute with a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, well placed by Pagan. Maybe a little elevated from Jordan Zimmerman. He was trying to throw that to the other side of the plate. You see Ramos reaching all the way across. Belt tie fastball. Got down on the label, but perfectly placed for a leadoff double.
Angel Pagan now 8 for 21 during a 5-game hitting streak. Here comes Hunter Pence. He's on a 4-game streak.
Inside out swing, trying to move the runner.
And Hunter, one of the better hitters in the league with runners in scoring position. He's at 337. Only Josh Harrison, who homered for the Pirates last night, better at 366. Jason Worth is on that list. More on that later.
Well, I think you're seeing the game plan early that we talked about at the outset of the broadcast. They're coming out hacking. Pagan not waiting around. Pence not waiting around. Look how choked up he is right now with 2 strikes.
And he hammers one out to right center. Denard Span watching it, and he can only turn and watch it leave. It's 2-0 Giants. Hunter Pence is 18th of the year.
Well, you knew they were going to come out hacking, and so far Jordan's been up, and they're making him pay. 2 hitters, 2 hits, 2-0. And this was letter high to Hunter Pence, and I thought there's no way he's going to get on top of that. Watch him get on top of this baseball. Letter high, that's eye high. Good bad ball hitter, ball up, go far.
It was not only well out of pitch track, it was almost off the screen altogether. That's Hunter Pence, 149th hit of the year. And he had probably had some teammates asking him, how did you do that?
Yeah. You've probably seen it before.
Here's Buster Posey. From a batting average standpoint, the best hitter in the league on the road this year at .337. There's the home run pitch to Pence, and Buster couldn't get to it. 1 out.
Jordan Zimmer just got a strikeout. He climbed the ladder, I think, on Buster Posey, but even after he struck him out, he was shaking his head because the elevation of the pitch, really scuffling to get the ball out in front and down. Watch the swing. Now watch Jordan. You know, I don't think he was real happy with the location of that, happy with the result.
Next up, there's Pablo Sandoval with 1 out. Yeah, the Giants evidently got a good night's sleep. They're in swing mode.
Well, when you throw a lot of strikes, you can take advantage of that and get some quick outs if you're hitting your spots. If you're not, it can work the other way.
San Francisco now 107 home runs this year, 1 fewer than the Nats, who've given up some long balls this week. 0-2 pitch. Sandoval hacks one to the gap in left center. Span after it. He will get there. In fact, he got there so quickly he almost had to reach back for the ball. Wet track, a lot of ground covered.
It was his tailing away, and that's why he really hit the burners right here. He's thinking that ball's tailing the gap, and for some reason it kind of stopped tailing. Just kind of died. Span there. Has to put on the brakes, and on a wet track that could be tricky, looking it right in. Nice play.
Here's the former Nat, Michael Morse. He goes up swinging. Got that one off the end. And Jason Worth will make the call next to Span. So Jordan Zimmermann battles back. Things happening quickly, top first.
It's a fire drill.
because of a crazy home run hit by a free-swinging Hunter Pence. Nats are 7th in the league in hitting, 4th in runs, 5th in home runs. And Jason Worth, last 2 weeks he's been outstanding, driving in 8, scoring 8, walking 9 times. And he's 5 for 20 career against Tim Lincecum. He starts against the Nats for the 10th time. He's 1-5.
He takes the mound for the 26th time this year. And he's looking to post his 100th career win today. He's 99-78 career. You saw the repertoire: fastball, slider, curveball change. And the numbers 10-8 with a 4.48 ERA. The command has been off, so we'll see what the Nats do against Lincecum, but you'd think they'd try to wait him out and make him throw some strikes.
Sandoval is a third of the way in from third base for Span.
First pitch off speed. Did you see that?
Ball one.
Slider at 81.
Denard is 0 for 2 career with a walk against the right-hander. Then he goes with 88 and misses outside, ball 2.
Well, I get a 2-run lead. I don't care if the guy swings at the first pitch every single time. He's getting a fastball.
Not even close.
Yeah, last outing against the Phillies, he walked 4 in 5 innings.
97 pitches in those 5 innings. Career 99-78. FP mentioned earlier, looking for number 100. Career earned run average 3.56.
If Denard's taking or swinging here in a 3-1 count. A lot of leadoff hitters will fill it up.
Sandoval will back up at third now, beyond the baseline between second and third. Ugly numbers against the Washington offense. 6.08 ERA career in 9 starts against the Nats. And Span will go upstairs and foul that one off. Only ball game in the big leagues in progress right now. Orioles at Chicago 4-2 Cubs, but they're delayed right now. Everything else tonight. Keeping the ball away from the Nats leadoff man. He got that one in the wheelhouse, though. And now Span's going to at least match what Pagan did to lead off. And the ball gets away from Hunter Pence. Denard Span's going to be on third base with nobody out. They're going to give him a triple.
All right, put double. I thought that might be a double and an error. Either way, there goes the no-hitter. Great at-bat by Denard Span, making Lincecum work. Gets it to a 3-2 count. Fouls off a pitch. Hunter Pence can't play it off the fence. Goes 5-hole back toward the infield. And Span was happy with the leadoff double. He slows down. That's why I thought they might give it a double and an error, but he'll take the triple either way. That's how this one starts for the Nats offensively. Great at-bat by Span.
Yeah, his 7th triple of the year, in the top 5 in the National League in that department. Here's Anthony Rendon looking for RBI number 69. He takes it on the inside edge. That was Denard Span's first career hit against Lincecum. Rendon's 1 for 3 against him.
I think that was Span that hit that ball, not Denard. Denard would have stopped at second.
Oh, I forgot the split personality.
Span decided to go for a triple.
Yeah, Denard would have been so courteous and just stopped at second.
He would have pulled up and stayed at second base.
One to Rendon. Couldn't stop his swing on a pitch way upstairs. Anything not hit back to the pitcher is a run for the Nats here.
Yeah, throw that swing out in your head, spread out, put the ball in play. had a junior college coach that when you took a bad swing, you'd look in the dugout and you'd say, hey, throw that one in the garbage. Focus on this pitch. I thought that was a positive thing.
Yeah. Now they say hit delete. 2-2. Rendon, good take and a breaking ball away. First inning's been rough for Tim Lincecum this year, contributing to that overall 4.48 earned run average. This is his 26th start of the year. Rendon takes it. What a good at bat. Two great ABs by Span and Rendon to start the game. And now the tying runs on base just like that.
When you talk about Lincecum facing the Nats, you remember in 2012, it was on July 3rd here at Nats Park. It was about 170 degrees. He lasted 3 1/3, gave up 8 runs on 9 hits that day. And I remember the Giants kind of wilting in the heat that whole series, but he cannot have good memories about standing on that mound he's standing on right now.
Nationals won that game 9-3. There's a drive to right center. 1 runs in. Rendon to third. And here comes the answer from the Washington offense. That's number 68 for Jason Worth.
Well, getting used to the good baseball, not just getting hits, but getting productive hits. You see Jason Worth with the inside-out swing, trying to go to the right side. Not only to score Denard Span, but maybe, if you're lucky, get a base hit and get Anthony Rendon to third base. So playing the game the right way. We've seen this for about a month now. Jason Worth, not with just a hit, but how you play the game going the other way. Rendon to third. Line is moving here in the first against Tim Lincecum.
That's number 6 for Worth. Career hit against Lincecum and his 4th RBI. That ball bounces in. Jason Worth had a good secondary lead at first, and Andrew Susac, the rookie Giants catcher, kept it in front.
The Giants really like the defensive skills of Susac. And you see right there, good example. Runner on third, sacrificing the body, keeping everybody where they're at.
LaRoche, his share of success against Lincecum, 6 for 30. 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 3 of them doubles. There's today's pick to click, maybe. We'll tell you about Desmond's unbelievable career numbers against Lincecum when he steps in.
If Lincecum used to pitching in that dry weather in San Francisco, having trouble with the grip, he keeps wiping his hand on his pants.
Adam, 12 RBIs in the month of August. Bouncing ball right side. He's going to have to hustle for them not to turn 2. They will, but it will get Rendon home, and the game is tied.
So not an RBI for Adam LaRoche, and probably not how he envisioned that at bat going, but nonetheless ties the game at 2, and a nice answer by the Nationals here in the bottom of the first.
Bases empty, 2 outs. And here's Ian Desmond. 10 for 14 career against Tim Lincecum, who's back on the windup now. The Span triple put him on the stretch for the next 3 hitters. Look at those numbers, hitting .714. Upstairs, count even, 1-1. That was a take the lead rip by Ian Desmond.
Well, it's at the Giants D. It's been so fast and furious here in the first. We haven't had a chance. Morse, Pagat, and Pensick outfield. Crawford, Sandoval, Panik, Posey, and Andrew Susac behind the plate.
Lincecum has missed a couple of times with the heater in there. That's the pitch Rendon took for ball 4.
This doesn't look comfortable. Cleaning his cleats, wiping his hand. Everything elevated, not over the plate.
Check swing, look out.
Another letter high fastball.
Jordan Zimmerman, 14 pitches, 12 strikes first inning. Lincecum about to throw his 23rd pitch. And Desmond, a good take, 83. Not biting on the off speed. Full count. Way inside. The Nats have another runner. 2 hits, 2 walks so far.
Well, Lincecum probably doesn't know the exact numbers, but he knows that Ian Desmond sees him well. But his command right now, he's back on that spike cleaner on the back of the mound. He's trying to get the mud out of his cleats, and he does not look comfy at all.
Bryce Harper, 2 for 9 career against him with a double.
Well, you can run right here if you're Desmond. But I don't know if you need to until he shows you that he's comfortable on the mound.
Susak, by the way, caught stealing this year, 3 for 13 as a rookie.
You know, I've seen pitchers tape 2 tongue depressors together, stick them in their back pocket, and use that to clean out their cleats and just have it there. Maybe you'll have it next inning.
Bryce last night, 1 for 3. Single up the middle, first time up. He's been living in center field with his bat lately. Everything going that way. Desmond now stretching that lead with a 1-1 count. He's holding, and Bryce way out ahead of that 80-mile-an-hour pitch. Pitch number 28 about to happen.
Counts a run if you get a good jump.
Anticipating off speed here, is that why?
In the dirt, maybe. He likes to bounce the split change with 2 strikes. That's his out pitch when he's right.
And Desmond still holding. Bryce Harper took it. Knew it was close enough. And Lincecum got the call. Each team, first 2 guys get on base, both score. coming up. And new for 2015, it's Nats Plus, an exciting membership program for full and half season plan holders. We'll offer you experiences, rewards, access, including exclusive autograph opportunities and discounts at the team store. Purchase now. You'll get priority for postseason tickets this October. 202-675-NATS or nationals.com/Nats Plus.
No field advantage. I heard Jason Worth in the clubhouse today saying, did you see what they put on the scoreboard last night when I hit my home run? It said gnome run.
Gnome run.
Yeah. Said I hit a gnome run last night.
Wow.
That's funny.
This is interesting because one of our great stat guys who works in this region, Paul Evans, was in town last night for a network broadcast. And we were talking about home field advantage in baseball this year. Going into last night, home teams had won only 52% of the games this year. Road teams had won 48%. So maybe home field, at least this year around baseball, not what you might think it is. I was shocked when I heard that. It's actually up from a couple weeks ago when it was 51.4%. Top of the second, Joe Panik leads off.
Nats are 16 over at home, so they're doing all right. 41-25 at Nats Park.
Doing their part.
They have gnome field advantage. That's a big difference.
That is hilarious. I like it. 1-2 to Panik. He's going to get this one in the air, and Ian Desmond's going to cut over behind Rendon to pick it off. 4 straight for Jordan since the Pens home run.
Oh, you've been waiting through the rain delay, and I know you can't wait to tweet us your photo using hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. That's brought to you by AT&T.
Here's the young catcher we talked about last night to face Jordan Zimmermann, Andrew Susac, 27 years of age. Went to Jesuit High School in your neighborhood, Sacramento. Played at Oregon State. Had 32 RBIs one year, playing with a broken hamate bone in his left hand. Recently called up. And that ball off to the right side. 1 ball, 1 strike. But good reports on him from some of the Giants broadcasters and other people we've talked to.
Well, they like him so much that it may allow them to play Buster Posey at first base more and eventually move him there full time. That's how much Bruce Bochy likes this kid in the box right now. Got a short, compact swing with some pop to it. And a really good defensive skill set.
Yeah, each of the last 2 years, Buster Posey has played 148 games. This day and age, hard workload for a catcher.
And plus, you saw the splits too when he catches and when he plays first base. The numbers, although skewed a little bit based on the amount that Buster Posey's played first base. And 385 when he's playing first versus 267 catching.
Zimmermann will pop up Susac. Denard span, middle of the outfield, 2 outs. Except for the strikeout, all the outs in the error. But Jordan attacking and making things happen quickly here. PNC Bank with our minor league report for the Achiever in you. And the Nats now, the news out of Florida is that Lucas Giolito, who pitched in Florida last year, Hagerstown this year, has been shut down for the year after 98 innings. Part of the Nats post Tommy John surgery strategy for their young pitchers. Put up great numbers. Can't wait to see him advance starting next year.
That's a great season, and that's how the Nats do it. He's on the fast track. I can't wait to see that kid pitch. You hear nothing but great things about the person too, not just the stuff.
He's only 20. Nats wanted to limit the strain on his arm. He struck out 110, walked only 28, and allowed only 70 hits in those 98 innings.
I think he threw one fastball this year that was 146 miles an hour. That's what I heard.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Brandon Crawford was hitting in the mid-250s when the Nats played the Giants. a couple of months ago. He's down to 226 right now. Goes fishing for that one. So Jordan's still not getting the ball down a lot. He gets 2 fly balls and his second strikeout. But he's retired 6 in a row, and he gets to face the pitcher leading off next inning.
At Nationals Park, a lot of fans were asking yesterday during the game about the scar that was on Doug Fister's neck throughout that outing yesterday. And Fister said after the game that he had some skin cancer removed from his neck, but that he's fine and that that procedure did not in any way affect his outing against the Giants. Matt Williams today called the skin cancer a fairly common occurrence in the baseball world. He said Fister will have to have further tests to make sure that everything's okay, but that Fister's outing yesterday was never in jeopardy and that he won't be limited by the procedure going forward. Skin cancer is a fairly large issue in baseball just because of the amount of time players, coaches, and scouts spend in the sun. Third base coach Bob Henley has had skin cancer removed in the past and really makes sure to load up on sunscreen before heading out of the clubhouse. So it's something that everyone needs to be mindful of, especially in baseball, and we're happy to hear that Fister's okay.
Good news, Dan. We appreciate your AFCEA sideline report, brought to you by AFCEA, the Association for Global Security Professionals. Bottom of the second, Wilson Ramos.
Yeah, I've had stuff removed too, but that must have been a lot of tissue because that scar is huge.
Yeah.
And my Twitter blew up during the game last night with everybody asking what is going on with Doug's neck, and he addressed it after the game. And
yeah, he made a brief statement and said, "That's all I want to say about it." 0-2 to Ramos, who's 1 for 3 career against Lincecum. Looks at a fastball right in there. Obviously, Wilson guessing something else. Tim with his second consecutive strikeout. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Yeah, fastball at 90 right here from Lincecum. Wanted it away, threw it to the inner half, and Ramos sitting on something else, looking like.
Next up, Asdrubal Cabrera with 1 out.
On a lighter note, you know, Masson-Dan is really stepping it up with the close. I mean, I really enjoyed that light blue jacket. I think that's my favorite one, Dan. You're looking sharp, my friend.
Oh, come on, he says.
No, he agrees. He knows. He's stepping up his game.
You know, hang around us long enough, good things will happen.
If he hangs around maybe long enough, maybe wearing 80s ties.
Anytime he wants an 80s tie, he knows who to come look for. I'm sitting right here.
No, you've stepped it up too, partner. I'm just giving you a little grief.
3-0. On base is the forte of Asdrubal lately. .351 on base percentage his last 15 games. Only once during that time has he failed to reach. And that is huge for a number 8 man. Constantly giving your pitcher a chance to sacrifice, move runners.
All right, it should be a healthy swing if it's a fastball and a strike.
He's got pop. There's the walk. On base, 15 of his last 16 games, and Lincecum has walked 3 of the first 8 batters he has faced. And now he's facing a really good bunter in Jordan Zimmerman,
who hasn't bunted well recently.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, he's in a little bit of a bunting slump. He was a lockdown every single time, get the bunt on the ground, advance the runner. I want to say the last 2 or 3 starts maybe, Jordan's been having a little bit of a scuffle getting the bunts down. See if he can do it here today.
Buster Posey, as we mentioned, at first base today. Yeah, Travis Ishikawa, left-handed first baseman, over there last night. Jordan IDs the low fastball, took it, gets the count in his favor.
Well, I'm telling you, a guy that can handle the bat like Jordan. You see where Pablo Sandoval was at the end of that? I mean, he was 5 feet in front of him. That's all you have to do is pull it back and try to butcher boy it by him. Look at where Sandoval is. This is the start of it. Look where he gets to. You pull back, you can hit right by him.
And it would be very difficult for Posey to make any kind of play other than first base, being a right-handed thrower, if you get that fair thing down the first base line. Jordan, 35 career sacrifice bunts. He actually has a career double against Tim Lincecum in 4 at-bats. That ball was hanging a little bit and deadened beautifully. The rookie catcher, Susak, down to the second baseman, Joe Panik. And now Denard Span has a chance to put the Nats on top.
Nicely done. But when you have trouble bunting, sometimes it gets in your head. So he bunted the first one foul, and he's thinking, well, I don't want to go to 2 strikes. I better seal the deal right here. But he stayed on the off-speed offering from Lincecum nicely, and now the line moves to Span, who hit that triple in the corner first time up.
What a great at bat that was for Denard. I mentioned he's in the top 4 in the league in triples, and with 7 on the year, he has 54 career 3-baggers. Middle infielder's pretty far from second base, so Cabrera can get a huge lead here. Best arm in their outfield, center field, right? Maybe Pence second best, Michael Morse third among the 3.
Hunter Pence throws weird, but he's accurate and throws guys out.
You're right. His throw's a lot like his swing. Well, we may get a chance to find out. Here comes Pagan, but he fumbles it, and the Nats take the lead on a clutch 2-out hit. And Denard Span is 2 for 2.
Who's better? Who's better in the leadoff spot than Denard Span right now? Fans going nuts after the clutch 2-out single. Talking about playing good baseball. Get him on, bunt him over, get him in. Another example how the Nats are playing winning baseball here in the month of August. Denard Span, hotter than anybody. And you know what? Pagan had a chance. He fields that cleanly. There would have been a play at the plate. You know, who knows with the ball being wet and how much it's rained today if he makes an accurate throw. But based on the timing of the play, if he fields that cleanly, he had a chance.
Denard 2 for 2. Rendon walked, scored his first time up. That was on the double play. Ball off the bat of LaRoche after Worth had driven in Span. And the Nats have Tim Lincecum up to 41 pitches in just under 2 innings. That ball gets away, and Span to second base. Great secondary lead, and off he went.
Heads up, right? Always looking to take the extra base, always looking to advance. There's that split in the dirt that you usually see with 2 strikes, and Susak can't keep it in front. Span ready for it. Off to the races. Another runner in scoring position.
They're playing Rendon deeper than they play Span, so any hit into the outfield should make it 4-2. Now Anthony again has to battle in a 2-strike count. He was behind last time and coaxed the walk.
This looked outside to me. Let's see what pitch track has to say.
Not like he's had great command so far. And Rendon out ahead of it. He'll take the off-speed pitch out of play.
All right, you want to see something funny? Everybody stay with us for a second. We got the Exmo and Angel Pagan on what he does with the bobble. Watch, hits him in the thumb, bounces in the back. He tries to backhand it. Watch this. Backhands the ball. Now where is it going? Over his shoulder, and he catches it with his bare hand.
By that time, Denard Span was, or rather Cabrera was 3/4 of the way between third and home. After Span drove him in.
I'm just betting you might see that somewhere tonight in the highlight. That and because there's like 14 broadcasts going on from the game. I mean, the whole baseball world is here today. ESPN, Fox.
TBS tomorrow.
You start winning, they all come. It's great.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Rendon down to third. On the charge. Sandoval airmails the throw, and another run will score. Pablo Sandoval throws it away. Span in. Second base for Rendon. Well, I tell you, nobody from third base can throw out Anthony Rendon lately.
Well, it's because he hustles down the line. He puts pressure on the defense, and Pablo Sandoval had to rush this. He knew that Rendon can run, launches the throw, and that ball into the stands. We've seen this act before. That was how the Nats walked off the D-backs the other day. He is 73 games without an error until that play right there. May 24th was Pablo Sandoval's last error. How about that? He has played Gold Glove defense for the Giants until that play right there. Second highest fielding percentage among third basemen in the majors at .982. Nats will take it. Hey, a gift 90 feet for Denard Span getting to second, then a gift 180 right there in the air.
So it looks like a straight E5. No hit plus the error, like they changed it to the other night. That was much more of a routine play than the one the Diamondbacks had. So here's Worth. He's ahead in the count. And he jacks one to center. The Nats are going to add another run here in the second. Jason Worth has driven in 2, and it's a 5-2 game.
Well, we said the whole baseball world is here, and the Nats on the national stage today are showing everybody that hasn't seen them play in the last couple of weeks why they went on a 10-game winning streak in the first 2 innings. Just doing everything right. Hitting behind runners, advancing runners with sacrifice bunts, taking the extra base on a ball in the dirt, clutch 2-out hits. And don't forget about the starting pitching. In that streak, the Nats starters had a 1.34 ERA in that 10-game winning streak.
Yeah, they were throwing pretty much shutout ball until Panic the rookie hit that ball out of the yard last night. So a 3-run inning, and right now 2 of those runs unearned because of the error.
And look out when Jason Worth gets that right center field stroke going.
Well, we've seen it twice here. He started, then stopped, and LaRoche took it outside, 1-1.
Well, maybe he's thinking about a stolen base because he has 5 and the guy in the batter's box has 3. And there's no way that Jason wants Adam to catch him in stolen bases.
Counts 1-2. Ball game delayed an hour and 12 minutes by rain. Started at 5:17. And not quite 2 long innings later, we're at the top of the hour with the Nationals on top 5-2. That ball skips in. Susac, a good block there to keep it in front, keep Worth out of scoring position.
Hey, isn't it funny, Carp, how the game works when you have all these career numbers and, you know, there's a big body of work there, like Hudson last night, his ownage on the Nats, and Lincecum today with how the Nats have owned him. I mean, it's different years, different players. Yeah. But there's just something about the mental side of the game when you haven't had success or you have had success against a team, how it always kind of shows up.
Worth off and running, high throw, and Jason Worth will swipe his 6th of the year without being caught.
Well, just some good baseball on display. When Jason Worth goes, he's going to make it 6 for 6 on the year. And Susac had a good pitch to throw on. That was up and away, almost like a modified pitch out, and Worth still stole it.
And you saw the Giants bullpen use Mero Petit throwing, bottom of the 2nd here. Lincecum now well over 50 pitches while getting 5 outs. Worth came into this game with an on-base percentage of .376. LaRoche .375. Power guys who will make a pitcher work in the middle of a lineup.
In my opinion, this all started when Tim Lincecum got a 2-run lead and came out and threw a first pitch slider to Denard Span.
Yeah, good call.
That's telling you how he feels about his fastball and what he thought about the game today. And I know Denard swung at the first pitch.
And now LaRoche walks, and it's a wild pitch. And Worth is coming down the line at 3rd. Sandoval in front of him, so he slides to a stop. So it's a base on balls, and it's Lincecum's 2nd wild pitch of the inning. 4th walk of the game. And if Ian Desmond drives in another run here, Tim Lincecum may not make it out of the 2nd inning.
Now Jason thinking about scoring right here. You see Sandoval heads up. Jason, that's how he likes to stop himself into a slide when he rounds a base. But Lincecum, Carp, came into today with 13 wild pitches. That was 2nd most in the National League, so add 2 to that. And Nats will take another one right here.
Ian Desmond walked first time up. Lincecum nibbling against him. And Desmond, first pitch swinging, will fly it to right for Hunter Pence. The Nats will come up with 3 runs in the 2nd, 2 of them unearned, and they are all over Lincecum early. inning. The Nats add 3, and it's 5-2 now. And on September 6th, it's a 4:05 game on a Saturday against the Phillies. And after the game, contemporary Christian star Lincoln Brewster will have a free concert. On the stage, Adam LaRoche and Desmond Denard Span, more Nats, with their testimonies about their faith. It's Faith Day at the ballpark. Group pricing, special pricing available. Nationals.com/faith or 202-675-NATS. Adam LaRoche, a double play ball and a walk. Really scary looking clouds up to the west and the north, but we told you earlier the wind is coming from the east, and the clouds are actually moving by the ballpark in the opposite direction of the way they usually go.
You can say scary looking crowd. You should see my pass list today. That's legit.
Well, a lot of Giants fans here. They scare me in black and orange. Thought it was Halloween here last night. But as you said, they travel well. And I'm sure the Giants still have legions of fans up and down the East Coast from the old days of the New York Giants at the Polo Grounds.
Well, this Cubs DC trip is part of a season ticket holder trip. That's why there's so many Giants fans here.
Got it. So to Chicago to see Rush Street, and to Washington to see the guys who are on Mount Rushmore. I got it.
I wouldn't have tied it together like that, but I see it.
It was a stretch, I admit. 2-2 to Lincecum. Jordan just missing. Tim Lincecum, an 0 for 3 against Zimmerman career. He has 3 hits this year. 111 career hitter. Got him. That might have been further out than ball 3. But it's strikeout number 3 for Jordan, and he's retired 7 straight.
I might want to thank Paul Emmel for that $37 right there. The D.C. area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making that donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this year. It seems to me that Jordan has figured out the Giants are hacking, and he's throwing strikes to a corner. He's getting the ball down now, and he's throwing balls too when he wants to.
8 out of 9 first pitch strikes. So they go 2 for 9 against him, and it all came from the first 2 hitters. Here's one of them, Pagan. He pops it up, and Ian Desmond's going to wave off Bryce Harper. 2 outs.
All right, you got to see this. We're going to stop it at contact. Hunter Pence's home run. Look at where this ball is. Unbelievable. Pitch track number 3. But look at Wilson Ramos coming out of his crouch, standing up to catch this fastball from Jordan Zimmerman, and Pence rides it out to right center field for a home run. I think Jordan thinking the same thing. How in the world did he just do that? Hit speed 99.
18th homer of the year. 156th of his big league career, now in its 8th year. He's 6'4", 218, and the way he wears his uniform makes him look 6'9", 188. He goes after another one up there, and he fouls this one back. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Hunter Pants.
The knickers are actually above the knees.
Be a fine in the NFL.
Got him. Hunter Pence will hustle. He always does, and it requires a throw from Ramos. And now 9 in a row by Jordan Zimmerman. Settling down as guys supporting him, and Bryce Harper hoping to join the hit parade. He's been going opposite field and up the middle lately. He's our Honda 3rd inning duo.
7-2 Nationals. Hunter Pence, we showed you the home run. Watch Denard Span run. He leads this thing off with a triple. And you got to stay with me here when he gets to third base. There's a fan right behind him, right there, that's really excited about the triple. And we like that. So yay Denard on the triple, or I should say yay Span on the triple. And then Angel Pagan doing a juggling act in center field. That allowed Asdrubal Cabrera to score. Would have been close at the plate had he come up with it. So Denard Span getting her done again.
Here's Harper, Ramos, and Cabrera to follow. Bottom three, 6, 7, and 8 batters up for the second time already. And Tim Lincecum is all over the place here. 56 pitches, 30 strikes in the first 2 innings.
You know what's cool about showing that fan in the background of the Denard card is you don't see fans jump up and down like that for a home run. That's why they say the triple sometimes is the most exciting play in baseball.
It is. Harper out to short. Brandon Crawford charging it to make the finish much easier. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep. Last 5 starts before this one, 3 decisions, 1 win, a 9 ERA. Not even a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, and that's 11 walks in 22 innings. Ramos caught looking on an inside corner fastball first time, so he's up hacking, and that went off the mask of Andrew Susac, his catcher, working with Lincecum. Wilson, though, still hitting over .315, now 39 games off the DL. He waited for that breaking ball and popped it up. Out Crawford, Morse in. Michael will let Brandon Crawford take it. And Lincecum a chance now for his first quick inning. University of Maryland, University College with a moment in history. Bob Feller, Rapid Robert, back in '36, 17 years old when he made his major league debut. First 8 down on strikes, 15 overall. It was a new era in Cleveland as they beat the St. Louis Browns 4-1.
Who would go on to be the Cleveland Browns and be a football team.
Well, some folks in Baltimore would take exception to that. The Brownies became the O's. There used to be some teams sharing the same ballpark. Phillies and the Athletics did it in Philadelphia. Cardinals and the Browns did it in St. Louis. There was a game at that ballpark every day of the summer. Just depending on which team you wanted or which league you wanted. That ball jacked to left center by Cabrera. Carrying deep. It is gone. Asdrubal Cabrera, his second as a Nat, his 11th of the year. It is 6-2.
Who's got the helmet? Who's shooting? Ian Desmond's got the helmet. Oh, he passes. So Desmond with the assist, and Asdrubal Cabrera with the serious display of pop. Opposite field job. And I didn't know he had that in the arsenal.
How many switch hitting infielders do you see hit a ball like that to the opposite field?
The other way, and the wind's kind of blowing in from left, so that was an opposite field job against traffic to make it 6-2.
There's Zimmerman in there from Lincecum. Just gave up his 17th homer of the year. And for Cabrera, second as a Nat.
That ball was crushed.
Well, we talked about his pop.
But that's red seats, left-handed. I mean, how many guys have you seen do that? Maybe Bryce?
Yeah, maybe LaRoche.
Good call.
25 homers as recently as 3 years ago with the Indians.
Red seat's left-handed, but to the deepest part of the red seat. You see the extension and the carry on this ball. Look where this lands. Impressive.
And Jordan getting a good cut. He sacrificed first time up.
Way to get on the helmet. Ian Desmond whiffs on the first one. It's wet out. Who'd he pass it to? Oh, he passed it to Worth. Oh, Worth draining the three, and then they all put the 3-point sign up.
And Jordan Zimmerman has his second career hit against Tim Lincecum, and they're both doubles sharply into the left field corner. So Tim Lincecum was headed for a 1-2-3 inning. The number 8 hitter hit one a mile. Now the pitcher with an extra base hit. Yusmeiro Petit is up again and working in the Giants bullpen.
You saw Tanner Roark right there on the bench giving a standing ovation to his compadre there with a 2-out double. I'll tell you what, this double might have lit up Nats Park a little bit louder than the Cabrera home run. This place just went nuts as Jordan Zimmerman laces one down the left field line. And watch Asdrubal. He's excited. The bench is excited. Good times in D.C. And that's going to do it for Tim Lincecum. The Shop of Horrors, a.k.a. Nats Park, for Tim Lincecum. He hates this place.
A double play, 2 wild pitches, a home run, 6 runs in 2 2/3. Into the bullpen we go.
So from where he's sitting, he's feeling good about this opposite field tater. Look at the extension right there from Asdrubal Cabrera going against a little breeze blowing in from left center field, but that's a strong man to hit that ball the other way. I didn't know he had that kind of opposite field pop left-handed. But that ball had some serious carry to it. You were just hoping it got over Angel Pagan's head if you were Nashville, but it went into the stands. And even though Ian Desmond whiffed on the first helmet taker offer deal, he made a nice pass to Jason Worth, who whiffed on the pass, picked it up, and still drained the 3. So that's how good they're going right now. Just right outside of his turbo zone, power zone.
Wow.
Happy place.
Yusmeiro Petit, 29-year-old right-hander from Venezuela, has been with the Giants for 3 years now, formerly with Arizona, broke in with the Marlins back in 2006. 33rd appearance, 3.79 ERA, 82 Ks in 76 innings. He'll face Denard Span, who's 0 for 1 career against him. It's going to be a long day for the Giants bullpen. Good athlete at second base, and Jordan Zimmerman with 2 outs.
Well, I remember that start for Lincecum 2 years ago. I thought it was the heat that got him. He doesn't have that excuse today. It's not a hot day here at Nats Park. Humid, but he's been up with everything. We talked about his command, and it's showed itself early here today.
It was 94 degrees that day at first pitch, and Jordan Zimmerman was the man who beat him. Jordan went 6+ before the heat got him. Denard Span, triple, single, 2 runs, RBI. Consummate #1 guy in the lineup so far today. That's after an 0 for last night. He was robbed of a couple of hits on line drives. And this one will be out of play to the left side. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lincecum 70 pitches, 39 strikes. Twirling that bat, took him a while to get back in. Petit ready. And Span to left for Michael Morse. Nats pick up another run as Drupal Cabrera goes deep for the 11th time this year. Second time as a Nat, and that is a big man's homer, as FP noted. Deepest part of the red seats, not far from the batter's eye. National Troop Recognition brought to you by DynCorp International. Reserved today for a better tomorrow. Ian Desmond, Adam LaRoche, all the guys honoring our troops today as we go to the top of the 4th inning. There's an old friend of ours downstairs about to get icy.
Admiral Winnefield. He was nominated by Mark Lerner the other day to do the Ice Bucket Challenge. So the vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs about to do the Ice Bucket Challenge here at Nats Park.
And he's getting a double dose of 2 big ones there.
Hey, he's in the Navy. He's used to water. That was more ice than water, though. I got to give him credit. That was solid. Now, you see a lot of these Ice Bucket Challenges. It's just been pure water. There was tons of ice cubes in there. And he is the greatest guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, he is outstanding.
Well,
big Nats fan.
Such a great Nats fan he is. Jordan Zimmerman now getting ready for the top of the 4th inning. I looked down there and saw one of those little round blow-up swimming pools. Took a minute to figure out what was going on. And then he comes up big.
Oh, they held up the game for it, as they should. He's second in command of our military. He's kind of a big deal.
Top of the 4th, Buster Posey leads off for the Giants. Zimmerman struck him out first time, and he puts that one perfectly to the outside edge. 6-6-0 Nats, 2-2-1 Giants. On to the middle innings. Here we go. Line drive, and Desmond could only watch it. Too tall. That breaks the string of 9 consecutive hitters retired by Jordan Zimmermann.
All right, fans, get a ticket and a drink deal starting at just $22 for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games at Nats Park. You can also enjoy the Miller Lite Party Night Happy Hour featuring live music, $6 drink specials at the On Deck Bar before the game starts. Go to the website, nationals.com/party for details. Having a good time out there at the Red Loft.
Pablo Sandoval hit the ball a long way, left center gap last time. Here come the Giants. First pitch, base hit. Span took a hit away from him last time, and now they have their first 2 aboard in the 4th. That was a long layoff for Jordan in that second inning, and then he ran the bases in the 3rd inning with his 2-out double. That'll bring in Michael Morse.
Well, you know what that means if Admiral Winfield did it today. That General Dempsey has to do it tomorrow because Mark Lerner also nominated him. So day game tomorrow, maybe.
Okay.
If General Dempsey's around, he might have just a few things going on besides a baseball game.
I'm just going to tell you, be careful who you give orders to around here.
Yeah. Mark did not mess around. He called out the big boys.
Michael Morse was trying to make this a 6-5 game.
He also called out Wolf Blitzer too, so we'll see.
Michael fly ball to right first time. 16 homers this year. He's sitting on 99 career. 57 RBIs this season. Target in. They want to jam him. And Jordan gets in there. Doesn't get the call. It's 1-1. Nissan will have a look on the pitch track.
Yeah, good idea. You don't want to let Michael Morse get extended. Try to crowd him with the fastball. And then get him aware of that fastball and then bounce him off speed on the other side.
There's that big uppercut swing. Giants signed him to a 1-year deal in December. Wasn't healthy last year. Had a right quad that bugged him in June and July. 13 homers for Seattle. Then he only had 29 at bats for the Orioles and had 3 hits.
I'm seeing that he's ditched the Samurai Cobra snake in between pitches. He's not doing that little deal he used to do.
He was 27 when the Nats got him back in 09. 32 now. Up and away goes Zimmermann. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We saw the percentages. Jordan has been throwing a lot of fastballs today. Really hasn't had a good feel for the slider, curve, off speed stuff.
One of the best deals Mike Rizzo ever pulled off with Seattle. Ryan Langerhans to Seattle for Michael. June 28th of 09.
Godfather knows what's up.
Looks like he's got some monitors behind him showing pitch tracks and locations, hitting patterns. 2-2, command center down there. That got him. Zimmermann got the ball under Morse's hands, and he got the edge of the plate for a huge strikeout. Number 5.
Perfectly executed pitch and game plan right there between Wilson Ramos and Jordan Zimmermann. Just planting the fastball in the inner half. Might have been a hair off. Michael Morse didn't like the call. Looked like from that angle it clipped the front corner of the plate. Big out for Jordan here in the 4th.
And here comes the rookie Joe Panik. Popped up to Desmond first time. Pulls that one right by Roberto Kelly, the Giants' first base coach. And right now, Jordan's starting to hit some corners.
I mean, this is the most I've ever seen him use his fastball, at least this year. I mean, on the season, he's averaging 68% with the heater, and check it out, 84% here today against the G-men. But he is moving it around, throwing it for strikes, and trying to elevate with 2 strikes. Let's see if he climbs the ladder right here.
Yeah, he does. Panik has hit into 2 double plays. Desmond keeping Posey close to second. Now backs off a bit. And a drive will slice out of play left side. Top of the 4th inning. 6-2 Nationals. They've out hit the Giants 6-4. And the Giants led 2-0 after the first 2 hitters of the game on the Hunter Pence home run. Zimmerman goes off speed. Breaking ball smothered by Wilson Ramos.
Nats coaching staff looking on. Bob Henley, Mark Wiedemeyer, Matt Williams, Randy Knorr, Steve McCaddy from left to right.
There's a bounce at a short that should be 2. Desmond goes 6-3. And Jordan Zimmerman is out of the top of the 4th inning. Only 2 hits given up since the first. 6-2 Nationals. All 5 of them involved in the action today. Abe starts out last. First place Bill. And you kind of had a feeling that Abe was lurking. It's been a while since he's won a race. On the back stretch, he had to work his way through some big coconuts, and look at him come around the outside. Teddy trying. And it goes to the man from Illinois. Teddy placing there. One of the better normal President's races we've seen lately. In terms of nobody hurt, nobody going down, everybody just racing. Bottom 4, Rendon, Worth, and LaRoche.
Some of those nights when the Presidents come up with the race, you wonder what they're putting in their system some days. I mean, how did they think of that stuff?
Probably some leftover campaign ideas from decades past.
Yeah,
you know how to wipe out an opponent.
Some leftover brain cells that were killed, I believe.
Rake a little muck or mud.
It's fun though. Hey, They're always entertaining, and the fans go nuts.
That act has not gotten tired here at all.
Not even close.
Fastball. Rendon late for it. Yusmeiro Petit got Denard Span. Fly balled it up to start the inning. Anthony Rendon facing him for the second time. 1 base on balls career.
I had a buddy back home that does a radio show asked me on the air the other day if you and I bet on the president's race every night, and he thought that we should add it to the broadcast and keep track of who's winning. You or I, every night we pick a president. Maybe throw,
give the money to whoever wins. Give it to Nat's Dream Foundation, something like that.
Or to me.
I'll go $1 a night with you.
All right.
Let's find out if that's legal in the District of Columbia first. And here's Jason Worth, 2 for 2, almost identical base hits, and both RBIs.
Get him back to baseball. Show a highlight. There he is, Jason Worth going the other way. That scored Denard Span. Everybody giving Jason Worth his little sign that he does. If you see him step out between pitches, he does that with his right hand to remind himself to get on top of the baseball. And the dugout's been doing that to him when he gets on base, and he's doing it back now. Maybe he'll do it right here.
Well, Jason, batting average up to .288, on base percentage up to .378 or so. We can't figure those out as quickly as batting averages, but it's a neighborhood. Pitch upstairs, 1-1. First 3 hitters in the lineup today, on base 5 times. You can add 1 for Rendon reaching on an error. So they've been putting lots of pressure on Lincecum and the rest of the Giants. That ball's going to hang up. Didn't go as far as it appeared first off the bat, and Joe Panik able to grab it. 2 down. That'll bring in Adam LaRoche. LaRoche facing Yusmeiro Petit for the 3rd time, 0 for 1 with a walk. Same as he is in this game tonight. He has drawn his 70th walk of the year. He drew 72 walks all of last season.
Hey, see what Minnesota did to Detroit today?
Again.
12 more runs today after scoring 20 last night.
The Tigers. What is going on there? I mean, that's the Twins who just traded one of their hammers, Josh Willingham, the former Nat, to the Royals about 2 weeks ago. Joe Panik out in right field for LaRoche. 1-1 pitch, 2 outs. And it goes high in the air, deep to left center. Outfielders watching this one, and it is caught by Michael Morse about 385 feet away.
Well, it was so funny. Pagan gave up on it. As soon as Pagan gave up on it, I thought it was in the bullpen, and Morse took it all the way. Thought that ball that LaRoche just hit was in the bullpen. It was because of what Angel Pagan did. Usually this is center fielder's ball. I thought as soon as he pulls up, watch him pull up right here. He just kind of pulls up and he's looking at the ball. And then Morse takes over at the last second, runs it down. So Michael Morse showing a lot of range, and he knows Nats Park and left field as well as anybody. Makes a nice running catch going into his own bullpen. Nice play.
Seven, 8, 9 against Jordan Zimmerman, top of the 5th inning. Jeep takes us inside the numbers with what he's doing today, FP, with his pitches compared to, well, the season as a body of work so far.
Aggressive with the heater, 83% of the time. Giants have been aggressive right back, and he's done a nice job after that 2 spot in the first of settling down and using their aggressiveness in his favor.
Andrew Susac, the number 7 hitter, 24-year-old catcher, flew out to center first time up. Brandon Crawford next. Nobody working in the Giants bullpen, down by 4 in the 5th inning, so it appears Yusmeiro Petit will have an at-bat in this inning. Petit's made 6 starts this year, and he's had 13 ABs. Off to the right side.
There it is, Carp. I miss our old booth. Right,
who are those people who kicked us out?
Yeah, who let those people in our broadcast booth? That was fun.
Not even close to a foul ball, though.
Everywhere I go, people say, "Are you going to do that again? We loved it. You guys need to do more from down there or anywhere in the ballpark." And I said, I agree. We had a blast. But there's our old booth. Miss you, buddy.
Yeah. The food of the President's Club. 1-2 pitch.
You didn't eat your crab sandwich. What are you talking about?
I know. Gave the hamburger away.
We did.
We had some happy grounds crew guys and some fans around who we gave food to. It was a really nice feeling.
Dan came over
to help feed the people of the President's Club.
Vultured some pretzels.
Fastball right in there. Jordan Zimmerman, strikeout number 6. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Yeah, the command there. Just whistling in there at 94 to a corner. It's all heaters. Jordan Zimmerman all about number 1 today.
Well, it just goes to show if you face a good fastball hitting team and you got your best going, no need to stand around and try to trick everybody for 7 innings.
And you locate it.
Yeah. He does go first pitch breaker to Brandon Crawford, who struck out swinging first time. And this fly ball out to left center between Harper and Span. Bryce will make the call. Ball moving back to him off the bat of the left-hander.
Peanuts, your summer home for future stars of the Washington Nationals. Check out some quality minor league baseball, one of the best minor league systems in all of baseball. Go to PotomacNationals.com for more info.
Yusmeiro Petit 0 for 13 as a hitter this year. He has 4 big league hits and 3 RBIs in his career. That goes back to the 06 Marlins. Parts of 3 years in Arizona. And this is Adam LaRoche in foul ground. And Jordan Zimmerman gets the kind of inning National League pitchers dream about against the bottom of the other team's order. Nationals enjoying the comforts of home for the last week or so. Second game of this series. Strasburg Vogelsong tomorrow. And in a moment, we'll tell you more about the upcoming schedule. To the bottom of the fifth, Desmond Harper Ramos. Ian Desmond 0 for 1 career against Yusmeiro Petit. He's retired all 4 Nationals he's faced. A reliever who works off the stretch even with the bases empty. Heater well outside. About 20 minutes away from the Braves at the Reds tonight. Irvin Santana 13-6. Mike Leake 9-11. Nats up by 6 over the Braves, and they could post another half game on the board before that one's over with a win tonight. Good pitch, outside edge, 1 ball, 2 strikes. They've resumed the game in Chicago. Orioles a couple of early runs. Cubs got 4. They were delayed. Now it's 4-2. 4th inning at Wrigley. Boy, the Orioles got some bad news, huh? About Manny Machado. Knee surgery. Probably lost for the season. Big breaking ball. Strikeout number 2 for Petit. There's our next 5. Starting tomorrow with Strasburg and Vogelsong, a rematch of Game 1 out in San Francisco a couple of months ago. At Philadelphia, Tanner Roark, A.J. Burnett Monday night. Gio, Cole Hamels, the lefties on Tuesday. Doug Fister, Kyle Kendrick. Night game on Wednesday. Then it's on to Seattle. Day off Thursday. 3 in Seattle, 3 in L.A. on a long road trip. And I mean from the frequent flyer mileage standpoint, really long.
Now, a lot of guys haven't seen Safeco before. I was talking to some of the players. They were anxious to get up there and see what Seattle's about. Even Bryce had never been to Seattle. I've seen that ballpark. He was excited.
Nationals haven't been there since, I think, 2008, when a local boy, Corey Casto, hit a home run off the right field foul pole to win the series for the Nats.
It's a great yard.
It is. Biggest carport in the world. Fastball away. Bryce today called out on strikes and a ground ball to short. Bryce gets jammed, pops it to short left field. Brandon Crawford, 2 outs.
All right, time for your AT&T fan photo. This might be the winner. Little Nata dude right there with the spiked hair. Great jersey. At the ballpark, and he wants to be Bryce Harper someday.
He looks like he just went 4 for 4 with 2 great catches.
Fantastic.
There's Wilson Ramos. 0 for 2, strikeout and a pop-up. And against Yusmeiro Petit, 0 for 1 career. Right now, the story of this game, some early craziness. A Cabrera tape measure home run, and the efficiency of Jordan Zimmerman. His day through 5 innings. After a rocky first inning, he has really settled in. Ramos reaching. This ball near the right field line, and Hunter Pence over to get it. And Petit comes in and retires 7 in a row. Into the 6th inning, top of the order next for the Giants.
Nationals 25-man roster earlier today. Schierholtz will have a solid support system on this roster from day one. He and Kevin Franzen are very good friends. They've known each other since 2003 when they attended a pre-draft workout together. They were minor league teammates in the Giants system, and their friendship developed enough that they were in each other's weddings. In another twist, Schierholtz and Franzen are now playing against another former minor league teammate and good buddy of theirs, Travis Ishikawa, a first baseman on the Giants. Schierholtz is actually the godfather of one of Ishikawa's kids, so he's got a friend across the diamonds as well today. And here's yet another connection in all of this. Franzen, Schierholtz, and Ishikawa all played under our man FP, who was their hitting coach back at Single-A San Jose. Small world, huh, buddy?
Yeah, they made it to the big leagues despite their A-ball hitting coach. And that speaks volumes about those guys. Hey, they are so happy that they're back together again. You have no idea. Best friends.
Well, you've got a little coaching tree going around baseball. Guys who made it to the big leagues.
Yeah, I think all three are here. They're still playing. A bunch did make it, but I mean the longevity, that was 2004. And these guys 10 years later are still in the big leagues.
Pagan jammed by Zimmerman. Desmond, well done. That ball was spinning on Ian. Had to make a little adjustment. He was on the dead run. 1 out.
It looked like he got in between whether he's going to backhand this on the run or go to the forehand. Watch the little glove wiggle right before he goes to the ball. He does a nice job on the exchange and getting tons on it over the top. You can't see it right there. He got kind of caught in between, but a nice run and play by Ian Desmond to get the speedy Pagan.
Beautiful. Zimmerman drops in a breaking ball to Hunter Pence. 2-run homer. Second batter of the game. And now retired twice if Cabrera takes care and he can't get it there. Hunter Pence just simply hustled his way to an infield hit. And that's not easy to do from the other side of the batter's box.
Well, we'll see.
Matt Williams is out there. Randy Nord checking with the clubhouse.
I mean, you're right. Pence was flying down the line. It looks like he got it right. I think he was safe. Let's see again with the Exmo. Exmo does not lie. Yeah, he beat that.
Yeah, the old... if he didn't beat it, tie goes to the runner. What a great hustle play by him. I mean, Cabrera had a ways to go there. And here's Buster Posey. That could be a big play in a game when you're down by 4. And you've got big guns coming up.
Serious beardage at first right now.
Buster Posey has bounced into 13 double plays this year. Skies one to left. It'll stay in the yard. And Bryce Harper setting up for a throw into second base. Pence not going anywhere. 2 down.
Cannon. Absolute cannon.
Giants box score. All their offense right now in the first 2 batters. Pagan double, Pence homer. To start the game, they didn't have any hits until the 4th when Posey and Sandoval went back-to-back singles. And then Hunter Pence an infield hit here.
Pretty good arm. Hunter Pence just deacon. No way he's going to test Bryce Harper because of that.
2 outs at Sandoval.
You know, we talked early that the Giants came out hacking. They barreled up some baseballs in the first inning. And we said that, you know, Jordan Zimmerman could take advantage of their aggressiveness. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it works against. Right now it's working for him. 68 pitches to this point. And they're putting a lot of either first or second pitches in play for outs right now, and that might allow Jordan to go deep in this ball game.
Fastball just missed upstairs. I think Jordan thought, based on some previous calls, that might have been a strike. 2-0. So breaking ball low, fastball up to Sandoval, who hit it deep to left center, caught by Span first time up, base hit pulled to right. Second time. And he's going to get another knock. This one out to right center. Worth has to cut it off to keep Pence from scoring. They'll be stopped at third by Tim Flannery. And the Giants have runners at the corners, 2 outs.
Sandoval, such a good hitter left-handed. The split's amazing when you talk about if push comes to shove, you would imagine Matt Williams will turn Pablo Sandoval around to the right side any chance he gets. He came in today hitting .322 left-handed and just .209 right-handed. But that average went up with a 2 for 3 from the left side so far in this one.
Michael Morse here at the top of the hour, just to reset things for you. 6th inning, Nats lead 6-2. Giants 2 on 2 out. It was an interesting matchup 2 innings ago when Jordan Zimmerman got Morse with a fastball under his hands, and he delivers that one to the inside half of the plate.
Yeah, he doesn't like it in there. And they're going to stay in there until he shows them different. Yeah.
Michael 1 for 3 last night before they pulled him kind of early in the game. Brought in Gregor Blanco to play left field when they were ahead. Later on, they were way ahead.
That's what you have to be careful of right there. You saw Wilson Ramos set up down, and watch a Ramos set up, watch the pitches.
Closer than it first appeared. Ooh, 94, big rip.
Stay in there. Now, I don't know how many times in 2012 we'd see teams pound Michael Morse on the inner half and get to 2 strikes and flip him a curveball up there, and he'd get extended and do damage. He's staying in, trying to.
His fastball elevated a bit. That's a big man in that box at 6'5", and Paul Emmel called it high.
Well, it wasn't inside, I know that.
Got him with the slider. Zimmerman, 88, one of his best breaking balls in recent starts. 2 Giants stranded. They've left 3. And after 5.5, Jordan Zimmerman with the fastball today, but he uses the breaker to get a big power hitter.
In Mercedes-Benz of Alexandria, you see the Nats line score 2-3-1 in the first 3 innings. I believe that's the area code for Northwestern Michigan, if you're keeping track at home. And as Drupal Carrera adding one on right here. Opposite field home run where the big boys go and the red seats the other way. And everybody excited in that Nats dugout once again. And the hit speed 96 miles an hour on the Oppo Taco.
Wow. Bottom of the 6th. There's Yusmeiro Petit facing Cabrera. This guy's done a good job. 23 pitches, 7 outs. So Cabrera on base 2 more times today. And this bouncer to the right side will be Buster Posey feeding his pitcher. First out, 6th inning, and Jordan Zimmerman should get a nice greeting as he walks up. Here's the Nats box. Denard Span making things happen. Triple, single, RBI, 2 runs scored. Jason Worth, 2 early RBI singles and a stolen base. Cabrera, the home run. Zimmerman has sacrificed and doubled. So here's Jordan 1 for 1 on the day.
Well, respect. First pitch slider. Looking hitterish.
And Zimmerman takes the strike to the outside edge. Jordan's pitch count's in good shape. 76 pitches through 6. And the slider downstairs gets him. 3rd K by Petit.
RBI baseball is back with all 30 major league teams and 2014 players get the Retro 2 button style baseball game you've been missing. Visit RBIGame.com for more details and download today on your console or mobile device.
Span 2 for 3. His next base hit will be his 150th. Well, if you want to contend for a championship, maybe the #1 guy you want having a career year is your leadoff guy. Lewin inside, 1-1.
The point guard. Guy that makes it all happen.
He had 170 hits all of last year, 75 runs. He's already scored 78 runs this year.
Trying to do the math. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games left in August after today. And then September. Can you collect 50 hits?
He'd have to do it in 34 games after today.
Possible. All the multiple hit games he did. So that's legit. I mean, 200 hit season, not out of the question.
Hard to do. Murphy leads the league. Daniel at 155. Jose Altuve of the Astros, 175 hits in the other league.
He's a machine.
And we'll see Robinson Cano next week of the Mariners. He has 155. Fastball in there to Span. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And then Melky Cabrera right between those two with 162 for the Blue Jays. Hunter Pence is at 150 and Span right behind him. 2 of the hit men in the league in the yard together this weekend. Working another count. It's 2-2. And a great off-speed pitch. Span gone. So are the Nats in the 6th. Yusmeiro Petit 10 in a row. Nationals haven't had a hit since Zimmerman's double in the 3rd. just over an hour and 10 minutes late. And now on to the late innings. After watching Jordan Zimmermann coming out of that long delay in the offense early, it was worth the wait. This is a good ball game, and this would be a great one for the Nats to turn that last night thing around.
Well, I like the way Jordan turned his day around. The Giants came out just ambush mode, hacking at everything. They put 2 up in the first inning, and since then he's taken advantage of that with, very efficient pitch count, letting the Giants swing, but hitting his spots and getting some outs, and didn't run from his fastball when it was getting hit pretty hard early in the game. Stuck to it, made the adjustments, and has done a great job.
And maybe credit Wilson Ramos with some of that too, working on the same page with Jordan after, well, things got off, as FP said, to a very rocky start. Ramos calling a great game and Zimmermann executing, and there's another heater for a strike. 7th inning underway. Joe Panik, the hitter. The rookie 0 for 2 today. Pop up to short. Double play ball to short. Zimmermann peels off to cover, and LaRoche with the glove shovels it to him beautifully.
Well, that was Joe Panik to no panic. And Panik can run a little bit, and watch no panic. Just grab it with the glove, flip it right on the money, not a problem. And did Jordan touch the base? Huh.
Well, he was pawing for it the second time there.
I'm not sure he touched the base. Let's see if this one shows it. I don't think he did, unless he hit the front of it. And regardless, doesn't matter now.
He was looking at the umpire. Susak to Desmond, and the outs are coming quickly.
Yeah, I want to see it again. Can we see that one more time? Not that it matters. I can't see that. I didn't touch it.
When you see the pitcher kind of looking at the umpire, waiting, you know something is up. Two outs. Brandon Crawford. Giants are warming a pitcher while Petit is on deck here. May not matter. Desmond waits for that one. Guns out Crawford, close play. And Jordan Zimmermann rolls with 3 ground balls on just a few pitches in the top of the 7th inning. It's the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. And right now, Jordan Zimmermann. Telecast is presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Well, the crowd having a good time tonight. They probably had a few extra refreshments, maybe a little more dinner before this game got started because of the delay. They've seen a good ball game for the home team. And as we go bottom 7, Yusmeiro Petit is doing a big-time job saving the Giants bullpen for tonight and tomorrow. 34 pitches, 24 strikes. He's retired 10 straight. Anthony Rendon tries to take a run at him again. Struck out looking last time up, and that's ball 1.
Well, Matt Williams would like to have one more run to make it a 5-run lead versus a 4-run lead. Just take that one swing away, tie the game deal up from the Giants.
Now, meanwhile, Jordan Zimmerman, 81 pitches through 7.
And so would pizza fans, for that matter. Papa John's.
Yeah. Rendon, fastball riding above belt high for a strike. Anthony today, 0 for 2, walk, reached on an error, struck out, but he has scored twice. Susak took that one off the mask.
Nice direct hit, huh?
Wow. Off the end of the bat yesterday in the clubhouse, Jerry Blevins was modeling one of the new caps they're talking about somewhere down the road for the pitchers.
Well, I've seen him,
and he had one with, red one with the curly W and all that, and I don't know if guys are wearing them during BP or what they're doing, but he had one kind of modeling it in the clubhouse, and it's got a serious layer of padding around both temple areas and around the front.
It's been used in the game. I can't remember the reliever for the Padres that's wearing it. So it's actually been.
Hey, Rendon drills this one to right. And it'll be Pence for the first out, 7th inning.
Well, it's been used in the game, and I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name, San Diego. Somebody help me out. He reuses it, and it's been floating around the Nats clubhouse for about a month or so. It's huge. I mean, baseball players are about style. They're about how they look. If you look good, your uni, you feel like you're going to play good.
Yeah.
I just can't see guys ever wearing a hat like that, and it's hard to explain because fans can't see it right now. I mean, basically, your baseball hat, you look like the Great Gazoo. The thing is just humongous.
And Jerry said the weird thing about it is when you're wearing it, it's not terribly uncomfortable or heavy, but it's in your line of sight. The bill, the sides. He said it's just a really different sort of thing, and we'll see where that goes. Baseball's trying to find ways to keep pitchers safe.
But how many guys are actually finishing with their head down to the plate to where a padded hat's going to provide protection?
Yeah.
Usually by the time you let go of the ball into the strike zone, you're squared up, and it's more about your face than it is the top of your head, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, these catchers, like that shot to Susak's helmet a moment ago, I mean, you can just see that fiberglass bending and giving when the baseball smokes that thing. And Worth reaching and keeps it foul.
I think it's Alex Torres. I may be wrong, but he's worn it.
Jason Worth, a good day today, 2 for 3. A couple of singles. RBIs, number 68 and 69. One ahead of Rendon. LaRoche is at 67. Desmond 77, so the guys in the middle are really driving in runs. And the 0-2, a fastball that rides up and away. Pretty good take on a fastball. 88, just up and in. That's a high heater. Couldn't get to it. 2 down. Petit, strikeout number 5. Another reminder about Nats Plus. Check it out for next year. Full and half season plan holders. Experiences, rewards, exclusive autograph and other opportunities. Discounts in the team store. Buy now, get priority for postseason tickets this year. Nationals.com/Nats Plus or call 202-675-NATS. Adam LaRoche for 2 of the walk. Pinned Michael Morse up against the left center field fence last time up.
Twitter peeps picking me up big time with Alex Torres. Thanks.
Oh-2.
Look, I got a picture right here.
Yeah, that is one strange looking ball cap.
That's a large cranium. There's some guys with huge heads that could get away with that. I think if you put that on one of the racing presidents, it would look normal.
Oh, man. That thing would look like a small vehicle. Great crowd tonight. Rewarded for waiting out the rain delay. 34,137.
They should make Bob Henley and Tony Tarasco wear those. That would be awesome. Yeah, players' carp are such creatures of habit. If you feel funny wearing any sort of thing that's not normal, you know, the swag and how you look in your uni is half the battle. I used to joke it's better to look good than to play good.
0-2 to LaRoche. Off speed, and Adam takes it. Ball 1. And now the Braves and the Reds are waiting out rain in Cincinnati. Scheduled to start at 7:10. This guy's doing some kind of job tonight. Yusmeiro Petit trying to retire his 13th consecutive batter. LaRoche hits one hard, foul, and loud.
Well, you know what Giants fans are thinking right now with Tim Lincecum's struggles. And this guy doing what he's doing right here.
And he's made 6 starts.
And the pennant race and trying to catch the Dodgers in that whole 9. Are you going to maybe switch these 2 guys in the rotation and put Lincecum in the bullpen? Bruce Bochy's done it before. He did it with Barry Zito.
Only problem, Petit in his previous starts, 1-2 with a 6.32 ERA. Filled in for Matt Cain 5 times, Tim Hudson once. But throwing the ball beautifully tonight. But it's a legit question the way Lincecum's going. They need him. They're going to catch the Dodgers. It's hard to say anybody's out of it these days. I mean, the Giants are in the wild card hunt, 1 game behind St. Louis. Atlanta's a game behind Bruce Bochy's ball club. Pittsburgh 2.5, Miami 4. And LaRoche the other way, out of play. The West with the Dodgers hosting the Mets tonight. 3.5 still. LA and San Fran both won last night.
I can't believe how bad a division the West turned out to be. The Padres, a lot of people picked the Padres in spring training to win the division. The Diamondbacks were coming off a great year. The Rockies got off to the hot start.
Yeah.
Injuries with the Diamondbacks and the Rockies is why they're at where they're at. But that's a 2-horse race. That division is the weakest in baseball, in my opinion. Padres are playing a little bit better since the All-Star break, or I should say a lot better since the All-Star break, but that's a two-horse race with those guys going to go head-to-head down the stretch, and who knows what happens in that series.
Well, 2 World Championships with San Francisco. Bruce Bochy, some great days in San Diego. 2-2, and LaRoche having quite an at-bat. That's up the middle, and that's the shortstop, Brandon Crawford, to throw him out. 13 in a row for Petit. He's scheduled to lead off the 8th. We'll see.
Nationals 6, Giants 2, and Jordan Zimmerman has been getting the job done. 7 innings, 7 Ks, 81 pitches. And after a little bit of a rocky start, absolutely locked in. Big strikeout in the first after Hunter Pence homer to get Buster Posey. And you see the curveballs in the dirt. Fastball buried into Michael Morse. Then he goes fastball on the black to Andrew Susac, and the slider after a number of fastballs into Michael Morse. So Jordan Zimmerman settling down after the first, doing a really nice job.
On to the 8th. Gregor Blanco for Petit, who threw 56 pitches while pitching 4 1/3 perfect innings for the Giants out of their bullpen. Now look at the pitch count today. Blanco career against Zimmerman, 2 for 5 with a walk. He came in to replace Michael Morse last night. Did some damage with a walk, a run scored, and an RBI single. And that's just a challenge fastball up by 4. Here it is.
Aggressive. Attacking the strike zone. Taking advantage of a team that's really been aggressive with you. Doing a really nice job.
Tried to catch that outside corner, just missing. 2-2. Mercedes-Benz, everything away from Blanco here. One homer this year, 11 in parts of 6 big league seasons. And he hits one well up the middle. Only the Giants' 7th hit of the day. They bunched 2 hits together in the first, the 4th, and the 6th. Top of the order now, Angel Pagan.
That'll get the Nats bullpen going. Saw the phone ring. Drew Storn looks like he's hopped up to grab a baseball and get loose.
Tyler Clippard hears the phone ring in the 8th inning. He naturally pops up, but the Nats are up by 4, so not a normal situation for him.
He starts to salivate like Pavlov's dog as the phone ring.
About the 7th inning or so?
Just gets up, grabs his glove. And
somebody hollers Ocho, and he's getting ready. Fastball up in the zone. Pagan with his double today. 5 for 23 career against Zimmerman. Tough guy to double up. Only 4 double play ground balls all year. That little tapper. I'll be happy to get 1, and Jordan goes to first. All about outs right now. 5 to go with the Nats on top by 4 in the 8th.
A couple of big ones about to step in the box. The Nats are in first place by 6 games, and Masson wants you to show your support for the team by using hashtag #IBackTheNats throughout August and September. Tweet and Instagram using the tag to connect with other friends. Maybe even you can make some friends. Who knows? You'll be eligible to win some prizes from us, Masson, your first place broadcast station.
Hunter Pence infield hit last time on a ball to Cabrera. Adam LaRoche plays way off the line, probably 30 feet at first. He hit it over that way last time. Now you can see why Hunter Pence beat out that ball. Cabrera plays him up the middle a little bit, trying to keep the runner close to second here. Maybe not as far up the middle as that last time, but he had a ways to go, and Hunter Pence beat out a ground ball that a lot of guys would have been out on.
Plays hard every day, and he plays every day. It's funny, nobody's ever said Hunter Pence plays too hard. He's always hurt. I mean, this guy plays as hard or harder than anybody in baseball, and he posts. He's always in the lineup. He's
162 games last year for the Giants. 160 the year before that for the Phillies / Giants.
Got a pitch right there. I know one place that Jordan shouldn't try him. That's an eye-high fastball, mid-90s.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Good pitch, good foul ball. You and I, Carp, have witnessed a lot of taters this year. I've not seen one like the one Hunter Pence hit in the first inning.
Nats have hit 109 and given up 84. That ball bouncing well out in front of home plate. This stage of a ball game, 4-run lead. You want everybody to have to earn their way aboard. Jordan has done that all day. 7 strikeouts. Yeah, Hunter Pence hanging tough. This year he's hitting .337 with runners in scoring position. And Zimmerman freezes him with off-speed 81. Great pitch for his 8th strikeout.
Yeah, he didn't have the off-speed early, but he had it probably from the second inning on. Let's check out the pitch sequence to Hunter Pence. Goes first pitch slider down the way. Then he tries to nibble with another one, gets behind 2-0, and then nails a corner with a fastball for the first strike. Pence gets a pitch. That was his pitch, and he missed it. Now he got to fight. Bounces one, good block by Ramos, and then gets another slider in the middle. Locks him up with a curveball for strike 3.
Wow. 8-pitch battle there for strikeout number 8. And here's Buster Posey, who's 1 for 3 with a single to right, actually to left, back in the 4th inning. Most strikeouts by Jordan in a start since August 2nd, when he struck out 8 in 7 innings of that 11-0 blowout of the Phillies. Crowd starting to feel it now. 8th inning, their starter's still out there. 2 outs and a 2-strike count, and they're making noise for him.
To it, crowd's really been into it this whole homestand.
Hitter made an offer, no swing, and over to third base is Gregor Blanco with 2 down on a wild pitch.
Here's the side. Did he go pretty far? Looked like he held up.
Jordan Zimmerman started this inning at 81 pitches. This will be number 103.
Trying to root him onto the finish line right here with the big pitch.
Buster Posey's bat slips out of his hands, hit the ground, and then stopped on the track behind home plate. Probably needed a really quick 8th inning to go for the complete game, which he's done twice this year, once at home and 1 8-inning complete game on the road. Quite a battle here. 2-2. Fastball up, and Buster Posey hits it out of play.
Yeah, Buster's so good at covering the off speed with that long swing of his in the strike zone. He's short to the ball, but he can stay through an off speed pitch and serve it into the outfield. And Jordan trying to do the opposite, climb the ladder on him and make him chase up.
Pablo Sandoval next, and the way he's swinging the bat left-handed. We could see the Nats turn him around if the inning doesn't end here.
Boy, you can just see Jordan emptying out the tank right now. He knows this is it. That was the 8th pitch to Buster Posey. Just won an 8-pitch battle with Hunter Pence. Pedal to the metal time for Zimmerman.
3-2 again. And a breaking ball. He gets a fly ball with it. Span calling. He's got it. And Jordan Zimmermann, to a thunderous ovation, leaves after going at least 8 for the 4th time this year. By Ocean City, Maryland. Look at those waves. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. They call that wave the squeegee as it comes in off the Atlantic.
It's a turf tsunami.
Going to the bottom of the 8th. Fantastic outing for Jordan Zimmermann. 107 pitches, 78 strikes. And right now, the Giants' closer, as you mentioned last night, Santiago Casilla.
Yeah, mid-90s fastball, a slider, and a changeup to go with it.
Ian Desmond leads off. 1 for 3 career against this 34-year-old right-hander. That ball fading on 93. Caught the inner half. Getting some work here. As you saw, 11 saves. He's blown 3. And that's a cutter, 88, diving away. Gregor Blanco stays into play center field, so Angel Pagan gone on the double switch.
A big out right there from Jordan.
What a battle, huh?
Yeah. You can't even say he made one mistake today. You know, everybody says, oh, he made one mistake to Hunter Pence. The ball was over his head. He hit it out of the ballpark. Everybody looking at each other like, how did you just do that? So, yeah, he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, but it definitely wasn't a mistake.
Ian Desmond 0 for 2 with a walk today. That is nasty. 81, big curveball diving. 1 out, 8th inning.
So Matt Williams might turn it over to Matt Thornton in the 9th.
The FP, I think he was going to come in and pitch to Sandoval, turn him around right-handed if that 8th inning hadn't been ended by Jordan Zimmermann.
Yeah, 202 right-handed Sandoval, 322 left-handed, and that's not even updated. Left-handed, he got 2 today, so that's probably about 325.
I mean, he was hot and ready to come in. Here's Bryce Harper. Bryce has a base hit and 2 career ABs against Santiago Casilla. Turning it over, 88, diving away. Big gap right center. A lot of room up the middle, but the count's 0-2. And Bryce will pull it right to Joe Panik, the second baseman. Our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers donate $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every homer, and that has hit this season. Cabrera today, 109 on the year. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. And Wilson Ramos facing Casilla for the first time. And he pops it straight up. Short center field. Blanco has it, and we're going to the top of the 9th inning. It's possible the Nats can win a game tonight when they haven't had a hit in 6 1/3 innings. Vogel's song in his career, 1-2 against the Nats, 8 games, 4 starts. On the year, he's 7-9, and Steven Strasburg got his 10th win last time out. He's 10-10, and against the Giants, 3-0 career with a 180 in 4 starts. It's a rematch of Monday, June 9th. At AT&T Park when the Nationals hammered Vogel's song, and the Giants 9-2 and got that series off to a great start.
And the newly invented Steven Strasburg in to win with the fastball. And speaking of fastballs, how about this one? 95-97. In, out, up, down with the fastball. Very rarely throws anything but number 1. And you see the numbers. 2.03 ERA, 24 strikeouts, just 6 walks. Only getting 228 against the hard-thrown lefty.
He's 37 years of age and bringing it right now at this stage of his career. First up for the Giants, Pablo Sandoval, who, as FP mentioned, not nearly the year right-handed, 209, as he is from the other side of the plate, more than 110 points higher. facing Thornton for the first time, and he had him lunging. No balls, 2 strikes. Nats trying to win their 74th game of the year and get it back to 20 over 500. Lunging again. Here comes Rendon. He'll have to be quick. He is, but the throw gets by LaRoche, and Pablo Sandoval is going to just stay at first base. He had run through the bag and did not make a turn towards second base. So base hit. Sandoval, 3rd hit of the night.
He might have felt something, or he might have something going on from before, but he had no interest in advancing to second base as he legs this one out. Do or die for Rendon. Sandoval can actually run. Believe it or not, he can get down the line. He's hustling right here, smelling the hit. Yeah, you saw him pull up there at the end, and Adam LaRoche asked him if he's okay right now.
Still Michael Morse. Michael Morse 0 for 3 career against Thornton. 1 for 4 with that base hit. And here we go in the ninth, trying to get those last 3 outs. After the infield hit, Rafael Soriano popped up in the right field bullpen. And he'll get heated up in a hurry here. It is right now a save situation. Tying runs in the on-deck circle.
Well, this is the old Steve McCaddy come out and try to tighten you up, stall for time to get Soriano loose trip. And Joe Panik, being a left-hander, probably stay with that left-on-left matchup, and if anything happens, you go to Soriano for Susac, or maybe you just go to Soriano for Susac regardless of what happens with Panik.
Yeah. Well, if it gets down to a right-hander in this inning, the Giants have 1 left-handed batter remaining on the bench, Travis Ishikawa.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot for Soriano to get loose.
Yeah, he knows how many, plus the 8 he gets once he steps between the lines. Joe Panik 0 for 3. .95 is in there. And a bouncer, just what the Nats need. Desmond turns the double play.
Tailor-made double play, and that'll possibly keep Matt Thornton in the game. Got the ground ball from Panik. He and Desmond takes it himself. 6-3 unassisted double play here in the ninth. Nice.
Well, trying to build a new winning streak. Here's the rookie Susac, the right-hander, against Thornton. Low and inside. In the air to center. The memories of 10-3 last night erased. Tonight it's the Nationals 6-2.
Well, how about the effort of Jordan Zimmerman? I mean, that's big boy pitching after giving up the home run in the first, just to relax, attack the strike zone with his fastball. He gets a good fastball hitting team. And as Drupal Cabrera with the opposite field blast, Nats came out swinging. They took advantage of Tim Lincecum's wildness to get back in the win column here today. And we said start a new streak tomorrow. Well, they're on their way.
Good win for the Nats all around. Jordan Zimmerman, 9th win of the year, and there will be a rubber game in D.C. tomorrow.